Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another guide for The Last of Us Part 2's No Return game mode. Now today, we talk about the man. We talk about the myth. We talk about the legend. We talk about the greatest, or one of the greatest video game characters of all time. And that man is none other than Joel. Look at him, how beautiful he is, man. Oh, I love you, man. I love you, daddy. I mean, what? I mean, huh? Okay, never mind. Let's get into his inventory now. His inventory is really overloaded, actually. He has a custom revolver, which is insanely strong, I guess. It's top 3 weapons in this game, bro. You got an upgraded melee weapon with two-handed melee weapon with 3 hits. You have a shiv, and you have an extra weapon holster for the secondary weapons. So if you grab a pistol from the shop, or you grab, I don't know, hunting pistol from the shop, you will have a second slot from the get-go. His playstyle is called Unstoppable, which is actually really fitting, but only if you are prepared. I will get into that a bit later. Now, his traits. Custom revolver, like I said with Tommy, he has a sniper rifle and he has a revolver, right? So his custom revolver deals slightly more damage than a regular revolver, meaning that, for example, against runners, you can one-shot them. Instead of just having to use 2 shots, you can one-shot them. Against humans, it's also 2 shots, like a regular revolver, though. Like, the damage is not that much higher, but it's definitely higher. To a point where runners can be 1 shot with this weapon. Stalkers are 2 shots. You can even 2-shot a shambler with this weapon if both shots are headshots. So it's I don't really understand the damage. I feel like it's definitely stronger against infected, and against infected this character shines really, really good. And he shines a lot with against infected because of this revolver. But we'll go into that a bit more later on. Let's keep going with his traits now. After the custom revolver, he has a trait which says sturdy against melee attacks, which basically means nothing else but every character except for Tommy and Joel, every character has the ability to dodge, right? He also cannot dodge. As Joel, you can't dodge. You can't dodge as Tommy. And in this game, you have this thing where sometimes you melee attack an enemy and they will just ignore you and straight up attack you. And with every other character, you have to dodge that attack, otherwise he's gonna interrupt your attack. With Joel and Tommy, they don't get interrupted. You can just keep your attack going as much as you want. You will not get interrupted. But if you get hit without melee attacking an enemy, you will still have the same stagger animation as everybody else. So this sturdy against melee only applies to a moment where you attack someone else, right? So that's what that trait means. He also starts with a shiv recipe, and he has a shiv upgrade branch. I don't know if it's a custom upgrade branch just for Joel. I'm not really sure, but he has this upgrade branch, which I will show you now. It's actually it's a pretty solid upgrade branch, I would say. It's well, let me just start by showing you first. So he starts out with faster stealth kills, which, I mean, it's a cool thing if you like to take a stealth approach, which would also be a smart choice as Joel. You can't just rush into the enemies because you don't have dodge. You have to take a calculated approach, and this definitely helps him. But this is what's really good with Joel, which is that you are able to craft 2 shivs at once, and you increase your capacity from 4 to 6 shivs. So you can carry 6 shivs at once, and you will be able to craft 2 shivs at once. And then he also has the grabbed enemy movement speed, right? So yeah, and I think this is a custom upgrade branch, because usually you have these 2 upgrade branches. You have them in the covered ops upgrade branch, if I'm not mistaken. But here you have it. You have this with Joel, which makes me wonder, what does he get with covered ops? Well, doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. Not that important. We talk about Joel, so this is actually really good. The fact that he can shivs is it's actually really good because you can really use these shivs against infected, because if an infected grabs you, while you're spamming out of it by spamming triangle and trying to get yourself free, you will take at least like 40 damage or something from that grab. Sometimes you take even more damage from a grab. So having the shiv basically saves you from taking damage because of a grab, and on top of that, you will kill the enemy that will grab you, which only applies to infected. If a human grabs you, he will grab you from behind, or he will turn you around and then start choking you, and you can't use a shiv on a human, as far as I know. But against infected, you can use a shiv, and not only will you kill the infected grabbing you, you will also reduce the damage you're taking. And if I am not mistaken, it's been a while since that happened to me. You might even be able to survive a clicker. Like, usually when a clicker touches you, you're gonna be dead. But if you have a shiv, I think the clicker will just grab you and you will be able to use a shiv. Maybe I'm confusing this with The Last of Us Part 1, because that is what happens in Part 1. Maybe it's different in this game. I might be confusing something, so don't take me up on that. But yeah, the shiv is basically a very good thing against infected, right? It keeps you safe from their grabs, which as Joel and Tommy, you are very vulnerable towards, like, because you can't dodge, right? Once they are in range to grab you and they go for the grab, you're gonna get grabbed. You cannot dodge it. You being sturdy against melee attacks will not protect you from grabs, okay? So you will get grabbed, and it's nice that Joel literally starts out with a shiv and is able to craft shivs from the get-go, and is able to craft even more shivs, right? So this is really, really good for Joel. His revolver is extremely strong. Like I mentioned before, you are able to one-shot runners. You will be able to two-shot stalkers. You are even able to two-shot shamblers if both of the shots are headshots. So this revolver is extremely strong. It's a lot more accurate than a normal revolver, so you can use this at a distance as well. We don't have to worry. And you are able to, I think, this revolver holds 12 bullets at once. So your magazine, you don't have you start out with 6, right? But you are able to, when you reload this thing, you are able to put in 12 fucking bullets into this gun, alright? And then you have a capacity of 12 bullets. And his drops for the revolver are also extremely generous. Like, you will have a lot of ammo with this gun every time. Like, at all times you will have ammo for this gun. And this gun is really fucking good. It's a really strong revolver, and it's so good. It's so good. Like, you legit don't need any other weapon besides this revolver. That's how good this revolver is. You simply don't. And yeah, the revolver is really good. And what's also good is, usually speaking, with the revolver, you, like, when you have the characters that start out with only a revolver, they already have a disadvantage, because when you play against infected, as Joel, you have an even bigger disadvantage in that way, with what I'm about to say. When you play against infected, you one-shot runners with this weapon, no matter where you hit them. But usually when you have to deal with infected, what you want to do is you want to stun the enemy. You want to do that every time as much as you can, but especially against infected, when you are being hunted. You want to stun them by shooting them in their leg, and then you melee them, and that basically gives you the most points out of a kill. But with a revolver, with a regular revolver and also with Joel's revolver, you can't do that against the infected, because you're just going to decapitate them, and that doesn't count as a stun. And your melee kill that you then follow up your decapitation with is also very slow. So it really doesn't work with the revolver. But the good thing is with Joel, they give him an extra secondary holster. So if you manage to pick up a pistol from the shop, or you get it after delivering an item to the dead drop, you have no fucking problem. You can just swap around the revolver and the pistol as much as you want because you have that extra holster, right? So in that regard, Joel is already good to go. Like, he's prepared in that regard, right? You don't have to swap around from your backpack every single time. You just have them both available at once, which is really fucking good. On top of that, he starts out with this melee weapon that is already upgraded. It has 3 hits and it one-shots every enemy, except for like shamblers and clickers. But every other enemy, it one-shots them, which is really good for Joel to start out with, because sometimes you just have enemies that are close up to you, and if you punch them, you will not kill them, right? And like I mentioned before, when you punch an enemy, they sometimes just ignore you and they start attacking you, right? And with that, if you just keep punching, they can decide to just keep going, and if it's a human enemy with a melee weapon, he's just gonna kill you, right? So it's a really good thing that this guy starts out with this upgraded melee weapon, because it really helps him out in the beginning. He also starts out with a shiv, which helps him out right in the beginning in case you start out with an infected encounter and you're getting grabbed. So you remember how in Tommy's guide I said that character is all about preparation? And the thing is, you basically start out with nothing but that rifle, but that rifle doesn't really compensate all the negative aspects he has, and you literally have to go into the first encounters with nothing. Joel is not like that. Joel also needs to make preparations. Don't get me wrong, with Joel you have to take a very calculated approach as well. But with Joel, you already start out with this insanely good revolver. Like with Tommy, he has this rifle, which is also good, but it's basically a hunting pistol with 2 bullets. This revolver is really unique, and it's so fucking good. It deals increased damage, it has more accuracy, it has faster reload speed, it contains 12 bullets, it's fucking strong as fuck, okay? And on top of that, if you manage to grab a pistol later on, you have them both available at once because he has this extra fucking holster. And on top of that, Naughty Dog wasn't like, okay, we gave him this fucking overpowered, strong-ass revolver, that's it, that's all we're gonna give to him. No. They also made sure that when you are in the beginning of the run and you get enemies, they come close to you, they took care of that problem as well by giving you this beautiful 2-handed melee weapon that is upgraded, so you one-shot them, and they also gave you a shiv right off the get-go in case the first encounter is against infected, and in case they grab you. So with Joel, they literally did what Tommy is missing, which is giving him the tools to survive, or like have an easier time surviving the beginning of the run, right? And that's why Tommy is so much more difficult. With Joel, not only did they give him a better weapon, they also gave him the tools to basically be safe from the get-go, right? So him not being able to dodge, especially against infected, is really not that big of a deal. Joel against infected is so strong, you don't even understand, because this revolver, like I mentioned before, one-shots runners. So against infected, you really shouldn't have a problem, because you have the strongest revolver, you start out with a shiv, and you are able to craft a shiv from the get-go, you are able to craft a shit ton of shivs, you will be able to buy melee weapons from the shop, you will be able to buy equipment, pipe bombs and stuff as well, because Joel shares Abby's inventory, right? Even though he has this custom revolver. He shares Abby's inventory, so you will be able to buy pipe bombs, trap mines, and all that beautiful stuff. And on top of that, you have this broken ass revolver, and you have the opportunity to craft shivs from the get-go. You can craft a lot more shivs, and you just you're just good to go with Joel, right? You're prepared from the get-go. And as you keep going with your run, you are able to prepare yourself even further for the next encounters, right? So that's why Joel is, in my opinion, a really good character. He's a really good character and a really unique character as well. And him being such a unique character and also such a good character at the same time definitely makes him one of the most fun characters to play, because every other character besides Tommy can kind of be played similarly, right? They all have, like, because of their ability to dodge, you can literally play them however you want. Obviously, with some characters like Abby, for example, it wouldn't be as advisable to go stealth um, as much as it would be with Lev, for example, who starts out with a bow. But at the end of the day, everybody can be played a certain way, right? Joel and Tommy simply can't. All right, with Joel and Tommy, you have to take a calculated approach, and you have to be prepared for everything, and you have to make sure that you have the equipment to be prepared for everything, right? And Joel literally starts out with the equipment to be prepared for anything. If you start out against humans, good. You have this beautiful revolver. You will be able to stun them. You will be able to do your thing. If they get close, you have a melee weapon that one-shots them. If you start out with infected, you have a revolver that one-shots the infected. You have a melee weapon that one-shots the infected. You have a shiv that saves you from grabs, and you will be able to run around in the beginning and maybe even craft another shiv if you want. Like, you are just simply prepared from the get-go, and that's why Joel is such a better character than Tommy. Like, Tommy is worse than Joel. Not that he's worse, it's just a lot more difficult because he doesn't have all these things. He literally starts out with nothing but a pistol and his custom sniper rifle, which isn't anything special, right? But Joel's revolver is special, is really unique, it's really good, and on top of that, he starts out with a lot of equipment. And he also starts out with an extra holster in case he grabs a pistol from the shop, so he will be having access to that pistol as well. And the revolver at the same time. So with Joel, yes, he cannot dodge, and yes, with him, you also have to take a calculated approach. You can't make a mistake. He is a lot more vulnerable to mistakes, just like Tommy. That doesn't change. But the beginning of the run is a lot easier as Joel. You start out with a lot more equipment. You are prepared for everything in the beginning. You will be able to prepare yourself as you go with the run and get more equipment. This revolver is OP as fuck. and yeah, that's why I wouldn't even consider Joel being that much of a bad character or a bit that much of a difficult character. The only thing that makes him difficult is the fact that he cannot dodge, and the fact that you, just like with Tommy, have to take this calculated approach to every encounter, and that you will get punished for every single mistake you do with Joel. And the same with Tommy. When you get hit against, like when an infected hits you and it slaps you without you attacking them, you will have this animation where obviously you're getting hurt, right? But if the infected decides to just keep attacking you over and over and over again, you are stun locked and will take a shit ton of damage and potentially even die. So that's one thing that Naughty Dog still hasn't fixed. They tried to fix it, they addressed it in the patch, it still is there. So I don't know how they're gonna fix it, but that is a thing with Joel as well. Same with Tommy. So obviously that also sucks. But honestly, besides that, I would say Joel is such a solid character. Like he's a really strong character, and he's the man. Like Joel is the man, dude. he's the guy. Like, he's that type of guy, dude. Like he's really good. And with that being said, I don't know there's much more to say about Joel. Unlike Tommy, he is prepared from the get-go with all the fucking overloaded equipment he has. And throughout the run, you were able to get things from the shop to prepare yourself even further for the future encounters. He has this broken ass revolver, which is really good. he has an extra holster, so when you grab up a pistol, you will have access to the revolver and the pistol at the same time. So you can basically treat this revolver as a primary weapon. It's not even a secondary with how good it is, right? And yeah, that's just Joel. I don't know what else to say. So in my opinion, the description of him being unstoppable, like this unstoppable playstyle, definitely fits him because of this revolver being so strong, and him having all this shit from the get-go. And when you go even further into the run with a lot more equipment, you definitely do get it unstoppable. But it depends on the enemy type. Like if it's a human, if the enemies are human, you're not unstoppable. You have to take a calculated approach, take a slower approach, and really make sure that all your steps are correct. But against infected, you are truly unstoppable. Like against infected, you run through them. You don't give a flying fuck about anything. You seriously don't. If you get grabbed, use your shiv. If they are getting close to you, use your revolver, use your melee weapon. You're good to go. Like against infected, you really have nothing to worry about as Joel, even with all the limitations you have. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about Joel. I know this was again a lot that I talked about, but Joel is a very unique character, just like Tommy, and therefore I do have a lot to talk about. I'm actually glad that it was only 20 minutes, because I thought it's gonna be a lot more, because he has a lot more than Tommy, right? Tommy just has the fact that he can dodge and he has his rifle and that's it. This man has this beautiful revolver, he has all this equipment, blah blah blah. He has so much more. I thought I'm gonna talk a lot more, but I made sure to have a little structure of what I want to talk about, and I went through that structure. Didn't really waste any time with what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm happy that this only took 22 minutes. But yeah, that's it about Joel. I think I have mentioned everything. If I forgot something, let me know. Or if you have any other questions, obviously you can ask in the comments, and I'll be glad to reply and answer your question. But yeah, that's it for now. We shall move on to the run I did with Joel, which was a beautiful run that, yeah, I think really showcases everything I just talked about. So yeah, I'll see you then. Alright everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the portion where we talk about the character and showcase everything with a run. And commentate over the run. So yeah, we are talking about Joel today. So this run is Joel, as you can see, my boy Joel. And we start out with assault infected on shipping yard. Now, this would be a great encounter to showcase Joel's revolver, how much stronger it is. But the issue is with this encounter, there is a negative mod on this encounter where the enemies have increased health, and therefore the revolver in this scenario acts kind of like a regular revolver because they have increased health, if you understand what I mean. But I will still talk about the revolver in general. I mean, the revolver, as you can see, what you can do with Joel's revolver is go for headshots. And with the revolver in general, you can't do this against infected, because usually what you want to do with a pistol, right, is you want to leg shot the infected so you get a stun, and then you can either melee them, you can grab them and stun someone else, and then headshot the one you're grabbing and whatever. With a revolver, you can't do that against infected because you will just shoot their leg off. Okay, so that doesn't work. But one thing you want to do with Joel's revolver is just go for straight up headshots against the infected, because usually speaking, the revolver will one-shot a runner. So to get the most points out of a kill using Joel's revolver would be to just go for a headshot straight up. Okay. But if that is difficult for you, you can either go for a melee attack, if you have a melee weapon though, or you can go for a headshot instantly, or you can just go for a body shot, right? Whatever. Another general tip to land your shots a bit more easier is to shoot the enemy once, so they're staggered, and don't move around as much. And then go for either a headshot or a leg shot, as you've seen with that first stalker I killed in this last wave. But yeah. So this was a very solid first encounter. Sadly, you couldn't really see the strength of Joel's revolver, especially against the infected, because they had increased enemy health, but don't worry. I sorted everything out throughout this run. I chose a route specifically for Joel to show off his strengths. And besides that though, that was a very solid encounter. Got 8 headshots, which is good. And didn't get touched once. Cleared everything real fast. And if I'm not mistaken, I even went and did this run with just the revolver, just so I can prove my point of how good it is. Here, for some reason, I only bought 3 pipe bombs. I think I did that on accident, if I'm being honest with you. Usually I would have bought all of them. And I didn't buy the pipe, because I already have, I still have my upgraded melee weapon, so I'm gonna stick with that. Now, I'm choosing a route. Again, I'm not choosing a route that gives me the most points, because this is a guide, right? And for educational purposes, so to speak, I chose a route where I can just show off Joel a lot better, his strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, the next encounter we have is on hardware store. It's assault against, if I'm not mistaken, WLF. But we start in combat, right? So the thing is, when the enemies start in combat, you have 2 scenarios where they start in combat. They start in combat when you are playing assault, and they start in combat, and they also start in combat when you're being hunted. And what I like to do in assault is I stand at a spot where I want them to go, because they start out in combat. So once they spawn, they know your position, but they only know that position, and they will go to that position, right? So what I do is I stand at a spot where I want them to go, and then I immediately just run somewhere else and flank them. That is something you can do when you are on assault and they start out in combat against humans, especially in the early stages of the run. Like, this is the second encounter, so I only have to deal with 4 enemies. Here I'm stunning both of the enemies. 2 quick melee attacks. With the humans, you can stun them. Like, you can stun them. It's no biggie. They will not act the same as an infected and lose their leg. Because the thing is, when the enemies lose their leg, like the infected, and they become like this crawler type of enemy, that doesn't count as a stun. And on top of that, the kill animation for those type of enemies is extremely slow, so you're just kind of screwing yourself when that happens. That's why with the revolver against infected, you don't want to go for leg shots. You, with the regular revolver, want to go for maybe a body shot into a headshot or an instant headshot. And with Joel's revolver, you want to go for an instant headshot, because against runners at least, because the body shots are gonna kill the runners with 1 shot. And there you go, another beautiful showcase of my aim and how good the revolver is. The revolver also is very accurate, right? So even if you are at a long distance, don't be afraid to go for a headshot, because this weapon is extremely accurate. And on top of that, you can go ham with this weapon as well, since it has an increased ammo capacity, meaning instead of containing only 6 bullets, you're able to have 7 bullets in I mean 12 bullets in this weapon. All right. So you can go and shoot as much as you want without really paying attention, and just do your thing, right? Now right here, I'm killing that one enemy, and I immediately try to move somewhere else, because it's really important, especially against humans. Don't stay at the same spot unless you're camping and like you're being hunted and you're camping somewhere and you have placed your trap mines, you have your bombs at hand or molotovs. But like in this type of situation, in this scenario, you do want to make a kill and then just move, reposition yourself like I'm doing right now. Now I know there's this enemy right in front of me. I try to check my corners. I grab her real quick. See if there's one else. I find her, stun her, grab her, and then the last enemy is a melee enemy. Here's me with my good aim that I talked about a couple minutes ago. But yeah. The reason why I was like didn't kill her instantly is because of the gambit that I just failed, because it said that I have to stun an enemy, and I was like, I should do the gambit, but then I was like, fuck it. But usually speaking, you should do the gambit, guys, because the gambit does give you 10 additional points at the end when you do it, and depending on the multiplier, that can lead to 30 or 40 extra points. So in this case it would have been 25 extra points. So when you can, always try and do your gambits, guys. They are worth it, definitely, because like if you do them every single encounter, let's say you do them in like 5 encounters, those points you get from that will add up to, I don't fucking know, 200-300, I don't know. So make sure you do your gambits. They're important. Now right here I'm grabbing myself some medkits. I grabbed myself my trap mines. And now I'm upgrading the skill tree that Joel has with the extra shivs. Now we're going here with the mystery encounter. And I already know that this encounter is going to be against humans, because the very first encounter we had was an infected encounter, and if that happens, the board is gonna be full of human encounters, except for maybe one more hunted infected encounter, and there's going to be one more holdout encounter guaranteed. So when that is the case, guys, always remember, when you have an assault, when you have infected at the first encounter, the whole board is gonna be filled with humans. Now right here I'm trying to pick apart the enemies one by one. I hear one jumping out, so I go and take care of him real quick. And now it's just, you have to play it a bit slow. I heard the guy, so I vaulted in and went for the melee. But I didn't hear this guy, which is fine. Made quick, dealt with them quickly as well. Picked up another melee weapon. This door is closed. Sometimes that door is open, so make sure to always check. And the last enemy in a capture mode will always be where the safe is. So here's me dealing with that enemy. And if you finish a capture encounter before this timer right here, you see this timer right here, how it ended at 55? If you finish this encounter, finish meaning kill all the enemies, before that timer reaches 30 seconds. Okay, interesting. You don't have to pick up the safe, like you don't have to open it. It's gonna happen automatically. And another thing, what you can do against rattlers is you have these clickers just chained up all around the encounter. What you can do is you can just kill them. You literally kill them. You will get a headshot. You will get a stun. You will get a melee kill, and you will just get additional points. So whenever you have these encounters against the rattlers, try and get a couple extra kills from the stalkers, especially in the beginning of the encounter where they're just standing still and the headshot is guaranteed, right? You should really make use of that, because that also gives you extra points. Now, right here, I usually would have bought the pistol, because it's just the better weapon to rack up points with. But for this sake of showcasing Joel and showcasing how good his revolver is, I decided to just stick with the revolver. Here I wanted to upgrade the survival branch. As you can see, it is a really, really good branch, and especially for Joel. And I didn't have enough supplements, but fortunately enough, we have supplements in the shop, so I'm just stacking up supplements from the shop. I bought as much as I needed to upgrade the whole skill tree, and with that we get faster crafting, faster healing, and improved healing, which is perfect for Joel. And with that, we will move over to the holdout encounter, if I'm not mistaken, which is the perfect encounter where I can just showcase how good Joel actually is. Like, these holdout encounters are a piece of cake with Joel, I can't lie. With the way honestly, the holdout encounters aren't that difficult depending on how you approach them. If you approach them from a way where you try to get as many points as possible, you stun every single enemy. Now look at me crafting thousands of shiv, by the way. Look, boom, now I have 4 shivs. I'm good to go. I don't give a fuck anymore about this encounter. I have 4 shivs. If they grab me, I have 4 shivs. No problem. Okay, never mind. I have 3, but 3 is still enough, and I can still craft 2. On top of that, I have a melee weapon. Like, this is what I mean with, like, preparation, right? Like, once you are prepared with this character, with Tommy as well, but especially with Joel, the infected are a joke. They really are. And this encounter just showcases that. But what I was about to say is, if you try to do these encounters with a lot of stuns and stuff, and melee kills, it does get difficult, because you might get overrun. But if you take this in an approach where you just want to kill the enemies, you don't care, Joel is literally so fucking good. Like, look how I'm one-shotting all these runners. You see that shit? Boom. And I will never run out of ammo. Another really good thing. Now the bloater right there. 1 headshot. 2 headshots. 3. Okay, I missed 1 headshot. 4 headshots and 1 body shot. So far we have landed 5 shots. Another shot. I wanted to throw that one to the fucking bloater, but okay. And that should be the bloater done. And if you stun a shambler with an explosion, they are stunned. And there you go, look at that. No worries, man, I got the shiv. If you stun a shambler with an explosive, meaning like a pipe bomb or a trap mine, they will be stunned, and you can just finish them off with a melee attack, in case you didn't know that. Boom. Unfortunately, Tommy got hit. Boom, boom. You see how much of a piece of cake this is? Like, I'm one-shotting all the enemies. I got grabbed. No fucking worries. I have my shivs. Boom. 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 Another grab? No problem. Let me just shiv you. Boom. Boom. And then there's another shambler. And I'll watch. I have to reload. But 1, 2 headshots and the thing is down. Like, this encounter was just the perfect showcase of how fucking strong this revolver is, especially against infected. It's so good. I also got a shit ton of kills from very far away, so it's also very accurate. It contains 12 fucking bullets. This is a primary weapon disguised as a fucking secondary weapon. I'm not kidding. So a lot of things in this happened in this encounter, but it really went very well. The thing with holdout encounters though, which I would really like to show you again, with holdout encounters you don't get any points for a kill. The only like points amount, the only thing that is being considered good in a holdout encounter is the damage your ally has taken and the damage you have taken. those are the only two things in this encounter type where there's a big influence on the points. Everything else, like the bonus points with stuns and everything, that's universal. But every encounter type has a unique amount, a unique way of counting stuff, right? Of counting your points. And in holdout, it's literally how much damage you and your ally have taken. Like the less damage you have taken, the less points you will lose, right? And as you can see, I got grabbed twice in this encounter, yet I only took 2 damage, so 1 damage per grab. And usually a grab will deal like 40 damage or something, but because I have a shiv and I was able to instantly kill them and get off the grab, I only took 1 damage per grab, right? Which is the initial damage once the grab thing starts. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick. So that's why holdout is kind of meh when it comes to stacking up points. So right here, I don't know why, but the shop just has nothing. So I decided to buy a machete, I re-roll, and now the shop all of a sudden has everything. I would have bought that semi-auto rifle, but then I remembered that I'm doing this revolver only. And as you can see, after killing so many enemies and dealing with so much shit, I still end up with 9 revolver bullets. So like, as I said already, you will not run out of ammo with this weapon. Now, right here, we are going to the logging camp encounter. It's an assault encounter, and if I'm not mistaken, they start in combat again. Now, this, before I show you what's gonna happen, we have time. This is the perfect scenario. Like, as you saw in this run, I haven't made a single, like, mistake so far. And even if I made a mistake, I was ready for it, right? I had my shivs. I got grabbed twice, which is 2 mistakes, but I had shivs, so I don't care. With this encounter, I didn't really make a mistake. I was just unlucky that they spawned right next to me, right? And I tried to deal with it. I couldn't. I got fucked. And that's simply how fast things can go wrong with this character. That's literally how fast things can end. But yeah, essentially what happened there was I just got unlucky. They spawned right next to me. I should have ran away, but they spawned right next to me, and I went for it. Now, with this run, you saw the entire run was pretty much flawless, except for the 2 little grabs I had in the holdout encounter, but even those were fine because I have a shit ton of shivs, and this literally showed all the strengths Joel has, right? The strengths he has with his revolver, the strengths he has by having all these things from the get-go, the melee weapon and the shiv, how good he is against the infected, and how good he is from the get-go, like how well he is prepared for every situation, right? Like, this character is really well prepared. He has the lack of ability to dodge and everything, but they compensated all of that by overloading his inventory, right? And giving him the ability to craft a shiv from the get-go, and craft even more shivs when you upgrade his skill tree. And this encounter, I mean this run overall went super well, except for the unlucky end, right? And therefore there wasn't really much to see when it comes to mistakes. And because of that, I decided to use some clips, which I gathered while I was playing Tommy for the guide. And I had a lot of mistakes that I made with Tommy that cost me my life, and I wanted to show them at the Tommy guide, but that showcase run itself already had a lot of mistakes, and I barely had any mistakes in this run, so I decided to show these mistakes with Tommy in this showcase, because Tommy and Joel are extremely similar in that regard. So yeah, let me go ahead and pick out these couple clips to show you. Alright guys, so right here we are at a capture encounter as Tommy, and you're gonna see how fast a mistake like that can cost your life, right? What happened was, and this is like with every other character I would have survived. With Tommy I died. I mean, I could have survived this with Tommy or Joel as well, but the thing is, I have this muscle memory of, like, I want to dodge, but these characters cannot dodge, right? And what I did after missing my shot, I don't know if you notice, but I stand up for a split second and move, but that was literally me just pressing L1 trying to dodge away. But then I realized I can't dodge, and well, I just got fucked. You see that? And that is literally just a perfect example of one mistake as Joel or as Tommy can literally just cost your life, right? With every other character, I would have just dodged away, I would have repositioned myself, and I would have been fine. With Tommy, technically speaking, I could have just either instantly went for another second shot instead of trying to dodge away. That mistake happened because of muscle memory, but that muscle memory will also come and get you a lot of times when you play Joel and Tommy. Unless you play Joel and Tommy exclusively. If you main, so to speak, these two characters, you will not have that problem. But if you play the rest of the roster as well, you're gonna have this muscle memory where sometimes you just want to dodge. Even though you know you can't dodge, but it's just muscle memory. And that muscle memory will cost you your life. So that was a great example of that. Same thing would have happened with Joel, so I decided to show this as a little mistake. And I have more, so wait a minute, I will show you. Alright guys, now this is another perfect example for actually two things. It's a perfect example for Tommy. If you remember from my Tommy guide, I said that this guy really struggles in the beginning because he has nothing. But this isn't the point of the video. The point of me showing you guys in this video is to show you how fast things can go south if you don't have the right equipment and the right preparations or precautions while playing as Tommy or Joel. Okay? So, right here we are in the first encounter. And we are dealing with Haunted Infected. And the beginning obviously looks pretty normal, right? A very normal beginning. There's me missing a shot, but I decided to just back off. Lock on didn't work, but it's fine. Here you saw what this sturdy against melee attack means, by the way. I got hit while attacking an enemy and I didn't give a fuck. That's basically what that means. But yeah, this is still very good. Still very, very solid. Solid plays by me. Even there, when I stunned the Stalker, I took my time and I made sure no one is close to me. So far, everything's still fine. But I think now, this is where things happen. Yeah, exactly. Now, watch. I make a mistake and I get grabbed. Boom, I get grabbed, I get out of the grab, but unfortunately, I get grabbed again. And this is how fast things can end. This is literally how fast things can end playing as Tommy and Joel. And the reason why that happened is because I just didn't have the equipment to deal with that type of situation. Okay? I don't have the equipment and I don't have the ability to deal with that type of situation. Okay? As Joel, this is the first encounter. So as Joel, I would have been able to escape the grab immediately. I would have been able to deal with the enemies close to me because I have this upgraded melee weapon. But that isn't the point. The point of me showing you this is to just get this point across that if you don't have the right equipment, if you don't have the right preparations, and if you didn't make the right type of adjustments, and make a single mistake by letting your enemy get close, you're gonna get fucked. Okay, you will simply get fucked playing these characters. You can't let the enemy get close if you don't have the right equipment and the right preparation to deal with enemies close up. Okay, not with these two characters. So this is why I died here playing as Tommy. And the same thing would have happened as Joel if I didn't have the equipment, the right equipment. If I didn't have a melee weapon or a shiv, the same thing would have happened with Joel. Okay? And that is why I'm showing you this. Yeah, just very unfortunate. But yeah, this is what happens. it's not even unfortunate. I made a mistake and I got punished, and that's what Tommy and Joel are in a nutshell. You make a mistake and you get punished. That's just how it is. But yeah, that's it for today's showcase. I hope that these extra two clips showed you situations where those also apply for Joel, even though I was playing Tommy. Um, those also apply for Joel. Okay, so I really hope that these two little clips here at the end showed you some situations where things didn't really went that well, and showed you the weaknesses that these two characters share. But at the same time, I hope that the showcase run showed you how good Joel can actually be, especially against infected. But he can also work against humans. So, um, with humans, you just have to take a lot more calculated approach. Like it's exactly the same thing with Tommy. So there's literally no difference. But yeah, I I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you learned a lot from this one. In my opinion, Joel is a very solid character because of the things that they decided to give him from the get go, and his revolver is just extremely good. And everything I said was shown in this video. I think if there's something I missed, please let me know. Obviously, as always, you can always ask your questions in the comments, and I will answer as always, man. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I wish you all a good night or a good day or whatever. And yeah, bye bye. Bye. Bye bye.